Hi guys, my name is Joseph Newcomb. Today we're going to be talking about 3 tips to make your trot more expressive. In dressage, we want self-carriage, we want balance, but sometimes we want to make that trot a little bit more off the ground, a little bit fancier. And it's really important that we go about it the right way, that we don't violate our desire to maintain self-carriage. We want to make sure that we can send the energy through the body, keep the balance, and instead of sending energy forward, covering more ground, we want that energy to be balanced, coming more off the ground. But there's a few tricks to it that are really helpful. This is Noah. He's a sales horse that we have here at the barn. And he has an awesome trot. And so it's kind of a good one to show you guys how to develop that a little bit and get the most out of his potential. So I'm going to put them a little bit together, and I'll start out in the rising trot. And the first tip is little tempo changes. So huge component of dressage, we want to think like, can we influence the tempo? Can we ride him a little bit forward, a little bit more tempo? Good. And then a little half halt. Good. And forward again. And back. Oh. Good. And again, I use my voice to help him because I want to figure out how can I do this with as much balance, as much that he's listening to the fine details. I want to be whispering with my aids and having responding to those. So those little tempo changes, get them receptive to the moment you put your leg on or want him to go more forward. He's listening. And forward again. And back. And in this moment, sometimes you don't necessarily want to do less. So with the half halt, you don't want to say less energy. You want to say just come back, but keep more energy. So back. And then forward again. And back. Come. Good. And I'm looking for that moment of suspension that I can get forward and back. Even sitting a moment. Good. And forward again. And back. Good. Now I could push that more and make him trot bigger, but it's not really about that. It's about balancing him, finding the right positioning of the frame, finding the right balance forward and back until we can develop a little bit more trot. Half halt, add. Good. And we find a little glimpse there of what this can be. Good. Half halt. Good. Don't let the frame come too low. Good. And then forward and back again. So your frame has to come up in the balance. Good. Okay. The next tip is as you bring him back, sometimes we don't exaggerate enough how back we come. So don't be afraid to bring him back to the degree that he thinks even more toward the passage. Sometimes we have to teach him a moment passage in order for him to find the cadence that he's going to carry in the collected trot. So that's it. And then we can ride it forward. So tempo changes, forward, back, forward, and all the while thinking a little connected on the bit. Can I feel both corners of the bit? Back, even more toward passage. Good. Yeah. Forward and connect, pinkies together and back. Little touch with the whip here. That's it. Good. So as I balance back, I want to find that cadence. Balance this frame. Don't let him come too low. I want to ride him up and out. Connect him up and out. Good. And then again, back all the way toward that passage rhythm. Even back more. Back more. Balance him here. Good. Little touch with the whip. That's it. Good. And then we can try to start to carry this rhythm where he keeps that cadence more in the forward. Align that left shoulder. Good. And forward. Come. And back. Little touch with the whip. Just super light. When I say touch with the whip, I don't mean tap. It's just a reminder for him to feel and think about the hind legs. Okay. Good boy. Give him a little break. And I like to give lots of little breaks that he gets to think about it. Okay. The next tip that I like that's a little bit different is to start to incorporate some lateral work into our cadence. So forward and back. That's awesome. Then bringing him back enough that we develop true cadence. So that means we may have to go almost all the way back to the passage. And then the next step is to incorporate some crossing of the legs, some leg yield, some half pass. And if we can get that really working for us, then we can really start to confirm our cadence. So I'll start just getting my rhythm back. Think back toward the passage. Balance him here. Balance this left shoulder. Make sure it's not just falling against the rail. Good. And then add. Balance and add. Balance. Find the hind leg again. Turn the shoulder. Straightness is so important here because he needs to be straight in order to engage from the hind leg. Hind legs. Hind legs. Good. Then we incorporate a little bit of lateral work. So bending and a half pass in this cadence trot. Okay, so here, a lot of people think, we go basic to advanced. But I want to try this half pass, not like I would normally ride a half pass. I want to try it in like a very cadenced rhythm. So quite slow in the tempo. Good. Almost like a passage half pass. So he really has to think where the hind leg goes. That's it. Keep this cadence. Hind legs. Hind legs. And it's helpful because it heats those hind legs crossing over one in front of the next. Good. Half halt. Hind legs. Hind legs. Good. And crossing. Cadence. Come. Balance in there. Good boy. You got this. Good. And you can see that this is new to him, but we have to offer him the ability to balance. If we never offer him that glimpse that he can balance there, hind legs, touch with the whip, touch. A little more in this space. You can do it. You can do it. Good. Little more in this space. Good boy. Good. And then rising and forward. Back to my forward and back. And back. And cadence. And sitting. And hind legs. Little touch of the whip. Balance him. Good. I'll go short diagonal line. That way it's not too long for him. Toward the extension. Trying to sit with him there. It's okay if he's up and out a moment. And back. And hind legs again. Hind leg, hind leg. Back more. Good boy. And that frame is okay, him up and out like that. Much rather him be there than too curled. Balance. Good. And starting sideways. Nice. I can stay rising here a moment. Bending back. Find the balance and add a little bit. Balance, add. 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 Half halt, add. There. Good. You can do it. and forward. Nice. And back. Oh. So those are some tips on how to develop the horse's cadence and develop the trot to be more off the ground. So the first tip, forward and back, tempo changes, that they really listen to you. You can regulate the tempo from your seat, but that you can also influence it in a short period of time. So they're listening to you. If you want to go forward, they go forward. If you want to come back, they come back. The next thing is make sure that you can bring them and balance them in the trot rhythm far enough back. So even if it's a green horse, not too green, but this is a 6-year-old, anytime you're starting to work in the collected trot, in the schooling, I like to start introducing that trot that's even a little more far back, closer to passage rhythm. Not necessarily passage, but that they really organize compact in the body. They can come off the ground. And then once they're coming off the ground a little bit and you start to play with that cadence, start playing with moving it sideways, that you can bend them, you can yield them. That's going to help those hind legs crossing over in front of each other. And you can even play toward those like passage half passes so that they really think in the cadence. I oftentimes think it's a mistake that we think running our horses off their feet. And if we run our horses off their feet, we take away their ability to cadence. So if we don't give them the balance, the opportunity to balance, then they're never going to be able to find the opportunity to cadence. So we have to let them cadence, and then we can start directing it a little bit sideways and be demanding of our expectations of the horse, but also supportive of the horse to figure out what we want. So this is Noah. He is a sales horse, so if you're interested, you guys can message us and get more info on him. And it's a super talented horse. And if you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like, because that helps the videos do better. And we'll see you in the next one. Está bien.